Hey there, and welcome to Careers Unchecked, the podcast where we stop checking boxes and start making moves. This is for barrier breakers, career builders, and anyone who's ready to build a career that actually feels like theirs. I'm Brandy Oldham, career coach, interior designer, and year-round iced coffee drinker. Around here, we keep it real. From navigating career pivots to figuring out how to stay balanced when your to-do list feels like it's just never ending. Whether you're chasing that next promotion, thinking about switching things up, or just trying to figure out what's next, you're in the right place. My goal? To help you trust yourself, take action that feels good, and build a career that's sustainable, not stressful. So grab your drink of choice, settle in, and let's get to it. Let me start this episode with this. Feedback leads to growth, but if you don't get it, you're kind of stuck. One of my clients came to me recently with exactly this challenge. She's been in her role for about 3 years. She's doing great work. She's motivated. She wants to grow. But her manager is stretched a little too thin. And she's not great at guiding development. So she was getting almost nothing in terms of feedback. No real development suggestions, no insight into how leadership perceived her. And she told me, I feel like I'm working in the dark. I know I'm doing good work, but I don't know what's next or honestly how to get there. And that's one of the most frustrating spots to be in when you're a high performer because you want to grow, but without feedback, you're stuck in an information vacuum. If you've been there, let me normalize this for you. The problem isn't you. The problem is that most managers are terrible at giving feedback. They're busy, they're conflict avoidant, or honestly, they just don't know how to provide useful developmental input. So what happens? You get a generic good job in your comments or vague critiques like be more confident. Nothing you can actually work with. So here's the truth. You don't have to wait for better managers to suddenly get better at feedback. You can create your own feedback system. So first step, make your feedback requests specific and easy to answer. Asking, how am I doing? It's just too broad. It requires too much effort from the other person, and so they're going to default to the easiest response. You're doing fine. Instead, I want you to narrow it down. Ask questions like, what's one thing I could be doing differently in client presentations to increase my impact? Or, if I want to be considered for senior roles, what's one skill I should focus on developing next? That's clear, that's answerable, and it gives you feedback you can actually use. Second, you gotta diversify your feedback sources. If your manager is not great at developmental feedback, don't stop there. Colleagues, clients, cross-functional partners, they all see different aspects of you and your work. So the client I mentioned earlier, we actually built her what I'm going to call like a feedback board. We listed 5 people who could each speak to a different dimension of her performance. She asked her manager about leadership's perception since the manager was on the leadership committee. She asked a peer about collaboration, a junior colleague about mentoring, and a client about her communication style. And then someone from another department was really good at strategic thinking, and so she really wanted to ask them for their insights there. The insights she received were powerful. She discovered that while her work quality was excellent, she wasn't visible enough in strategic discussions. She was seen as a strong executor, but not yet as a strategic thinker, which is where she really wanted to thrive. So it changed how she started showing up. She started speaking up more in higher level conversations. She volunteered for different projects that had visibility, and slowly her reputation started to change. Number 3, you have to create regular feedback check-ins. Can't wait for the annual review. It's just way too late. And honestly, you're just going to get generic feedback because people won't remember. So monthly or even quarterly check-ins will give you feedback you can act on right away. And these don't need to be like long check-ins. A 5-minute chat at the end of a meeting works great. Try something like, I'm working on growing in this role and would value your perspective on how I can be more effective. That's short, non-threatening, and very specific. Easy to answer for the other person. And fourth, you gotta give feedback to get feedback. People are much more likely to share honest input with you when they know you care about their growth too. So when a peer does something well, Tell them. When a teammate nails a presentation, point it out. And feedback doesn't have to be scary. It can be honest and kind. When you normalize giving it, you make it easier to receive it. Now, when you're giving feedback to your colleagues or another peer, you want to make sure that you're giving good quality feedback. So what does that mean? When you give good quality feedback, you want it to be specific, you want it to be timely, and you want it to be actionable. So really think about the person that you're going to be giving that feedback to. What is it that you have witnessed that person do that you think is something they should or could learn from? Recap that moment. Then tell them how it landed for you and how it might come across better, or whatever they did that was really, really good, you can re-highlight why it mattered. And timely. The worst thing you can do is sit on feedback for 2, 3, 4 weeks because, let's be honest, we all have very busy lives and our brains are constantly moving. So when you give feedback delayed, it just doesn't hit the same as if you give it in like that first 24 to 72 hour window. 24 hours to 72 hours, I remember what I did. I remember how I felt. So that feedback hits differently and makes it so that I can actually action it well. If I'm waiting on it for 2 months and I go to try and put that into practice, I'm going to be filling a lot of gaps with inaccurate memories. So make sure if you do decide to give feedback, it's timely, it's relevant, and it's specific. So this week, I want you to think about your action plan. Number 1, if you're looking for feedback, identify 5 people who see different aspects of your work and who could provide different visibility points for feedback. 2, pick 3 of them. Schedule a conversation with them this month and come in with specific questions that are prepared, not vague ones, specific. And 3, implement 1 piece of the feedback you receive and report back to the person who gave it to you. It shows that you value their input and makes them more likely to keep giving you feedback. Now, I'm always wanting to leave you with questions to think about. So here's a few. Number 1, who already sees your work clearly, and have you asked them for input? And number 2, what's a vague piece of feedback you've gotten in the past? And how can you turn that feedback into a specific question to make it actionable? And then 3, how often are you waiting for feedback instead of creating opportunities to get it? You can't control if other people are going to give you feedback, but you can control if you decide to seek it out. The most successful professionals don't sit around waiting. They ask really good questions. They gather multiple perspectives and they act on what they hear. So stop waiting for feedback to come to you. Go out and get it. Thanks for joining me today on Careers Unchecked. If you've got a career question or just need someone to bounce an idea off of, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take a breath, take a step, and keep moving forward. You've got this.
Calling all storytellers, performers, and creatives. The Soundstage is your home for high-quality recording in the heart of Clark County. Whether you're working on a podcast, audiobook, voiceover project, audio series, or audition, we offer a professional, welcoming studio space for actors, artists, and creators. Come record with confidence and mention Careers Unchecked to get $5 off your next session. Learn more about The Soundstage, the Northwest's premier voiceover and recording studio, at thesoundstagenw.com.